Hello, this is the first part of a tutorial on Jupyter Notebook. This part focuses on installing Jupyter, opening and saving Jupyter files. Most of the information here can also be found in tutorial 1 file. So first of all, to install Jupyter Notebook, you can go to anaconda.org, download Anaconda, and download installation package. Install Anaconda, and if you need more help with it, you can go to docs.anaconda.com/anaconda/install. Uh, you can choose there which system you have, and usually the main questions people have is how to deal with this window here about path variables. Just go with the recommended option. When you install Anaconda and open it, it will look something like this. The main thing you need here is the Jupyter Notebook and PowerShell prompt. If you are installing this at home, it might be a good idea to also update it. To update, you can run PowerShell prompt and then type conda update Anaconda. When you run this, it will take about a couple of minutes, and if there are any updates, it will ask you whether or not you want to install them. If you do, you can type Y for yes and click enter. After this, similarly, you can update Jupyter. It might have a few extra updates on top of Anaconda's updates. After this, you can close the window. Now onto the Jupyter Notebook. To launch Jupyter Notebook, you can click Launch here, and after a few seconds, it will open in your default browser. It will look something like this. Here you can navigate to where your Jupyter files are. You can also create new folders by going to New and create a folder. You can also use this to create a new Jupyter file by clicking Python 3 ipykernel. When you open a new Jupyter file, it will look like this. This is a cell where you can input your code. If it's green, that means you can edit the actual cell. When it's blue, it means that the cell itself is being edited. You can change the type of a cell by going here. By default, it's code, which means you can write your code. You can also change it to markdown, and a markdown is in essence just a text. When you finish with writing a cell, you can click run, and as you can see, it appears as the text. If you want to edit, double click back to the cell. Instead of clicking run, you can also click shift enter, and it will run the cell as well. If the cell is the code, then you can write a code here. The simplest code would be, for example, calculate 2 plus 3. If you click run or shift enter, it will calculate, and as you can see, you have input 2 plus 3 and you have output 5. Here we can also delete cells and add new cells. To delete the cell, you can select the cell. Notice it has to be blue, and go to edit and delete the cell. On the right here, you can see these are the shortcuts, so double pressing D will also delete the cell. There you go, the cell is gone. You can also go to insert and add the new cells, so you can add either cell above or below. And again, A and B are shortcuts. For example, let's add a cell above. As you can see, above the cell that was selected, we got a new cell. Jupyter Notebook is generally saved automatically. It creates a save about every 2 minutes, but you can also manually save it by clicking Save button. This also creates a checkpoint if you need it. You can also save as if you want to rename it, for example, or save it in a particular location. You can rename it here. You can also rename the file by clicking on top here, where you have a name of the file, and you can type whatever you want. Another useful feature is here in the kernel, restart and run all. When you are done with your project, sometimes you want to check that everything is correct, that you didn't, for example, use some variables in the wrong order. If you click restart and run all, it will restart the whole kernel and will run the whole file from the beginning to the end. And that way you can see that everything is correct. And finally, if you go to help, you can get quite a lot of help here, and there are quite a few different libraries that we will be using. And if you need help with them, you can go there and read more about these libraries.